Hello people, I'm just doing videos pretty much whenever and I can find the time to, and pretty much when I run across something that I feel that is quite interesting. Hold on. I want to actually, post something about it. If I can get this camera right. Okay. Basically, I ran across an article at work and I actually wanted, and I use that actually to want to actually use that as a topic here of what I would like to discuss here on this video today. Like I say, I know I haven't been doing videos as often as I can, but again, life happens, and pretty much a lot of things takes precedence over videos because again, YouTube is just a hobby for me. It's not something that is really all that important to me. But again, I try to squeeze time in to make it whenever I feel I really need to, at least for a topic that I feel that needs to be discussed. What I wanted to talk about again is that I think, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, but I think our women are really setting up our men, today's men, for failure. And I know that kind of seems like a strong statement to say, but I really do feel that way because everywhere you're turning around now, like I say, and this is an issue and a topic that's been, talked about for many times, and a lot of people have different things to say as to the reason why, these type of issues occur. But there's something to be said about single mothers, and for the most part, I'm not going to even just say in the black community. Because again, we're starting to see now with, influx of single mothers for the most part, from a lot of races other than black. And like I said, so I'm not going to sit up here and actually just direct this video to the black community because again, this issue is starting to make its rounds in other places and, cultures as well. But the issue that I'm actually running into and that I'm actually starting to see here, camera's kind of getting a little bit blurry, but is that we're starting to see again a lot of times where we're having single mothers thinking that they can take the role of both the father and of course the mother of the child. And for the most part, with that previous article that I read there, it kind of infuriated me because now it's like you're setting the men up, you're setting the young boys up to actually have problems with their identity. And it's important that our men, that we stay men, and the thing about it again is that, the only way that a young boy knows how to be a man is how to be taught what it's all about to be a man. Just like with a woman, a mother is, the expert in that, where she can teach a young girl how to grow up to be a classy lady. But we're actually running into an issue now where, a lot of the boys are actually being raised by single mothers. And basically, again, as a result of that, we have what we have before us today, which is again, a lot of men are going around, they are very effeminate, and for the most part, you kind of leave that unchecked long enough, and next thing you know, they want to say that, they feel that they were born one way as opposed to God making them another way. And basically, this is a very controversial topic. This is something that is going to garner a lot of opinions from people. This is going to be something that is really going to make its rounds. I mean, it already has made its rounds many times here on social media, but it's just like, there's nothing new under the sun. Every time you turn around or look at the news or look online, to read something, next thing you know, it's history repeating itself again. And basically, it's quite tiresome, and it's just the fact about it is that our men can't be successful when, their foundation is very flawed. And that's just a true statement about anything in life. You can't actually have something that is going to be rooted and actually groomed for success when the foundation is foul. Because when the foundation is foul, pretty much that's going to really let you know that whatever efforts you may try to use to actually make this thing right, it's not going to work out. That's the same thing with like building a house or whatever. You have to have a strong foundation in order for the house to be built. Whether it be, and someone has to come out there to inspect the grounds to make sure that everything is sturdy, everything is up to par. So when the action of creating a house is done, when the house is complete, it is able to withstand and last a long time for generations to come. It's the same thing when you're actually raising children. But like I say, centering on to the male, when you're actually beginning to raise a boy to really think of himself as a girl, this mother wants to actually, dress up her son and make him seem as if he's a princess. What kind of foolishness is that? And yet still we wonder why our men are not men anymore. We have and the thing about it is that when I hear these females asking these questions, I'm like, you fool, why are you asking these questions when for the most part, not just you, but people like you are the reason why most of the men are the way they are today. Me mad, it infuriates me, it makes me want to just throw something at these dumb individuals to let them know that, hey, you are the reason why our men are acting the way they are. And it makes me mad. You know, and I know it doesn't, involve me personally, but the issue is that with everything that is in our society that's going on here, especially within the black community, the black man, in a sense, is destined for failure. Society is already betting on the fact that they're not going to succeed with anything that they may try to accomplish. The only thing that they're actually hoping on the fact about is that, number one, you're going to be turned out. Number two, you're going to be in jail, or number three, you're going to be dead, because through the thuggish lifestyle and all this other type of stuff. These are things that a society already expects. And the sad part about it is that the women play into this. They give the society these type of things, and that's when you have these statistics and all these other type of stuff talking about, such and such a percent of men are actually, going to be in jail by such and such a year and all this other type of stuff. And the fact about it is that these same women who raise these young boys to be this type of way, they look at and read this news as if they're surprised. Why can't anybody succeed? Why can't our men? That's why, a lot of our women are going to men of different races, because our black men are not men anymore. Well, you know what? You have to be a part of the blame for that. I'm not saying that you're the total blame, but again, blame has to be put somewhere. There has to be a cause for some of these things. There has to be. But the issue is that, instead of actually wanting to delve into the issue and do things to correct and undo what's already, that is so rampantly done, basically now it's like the fact that the females for these day and time, they just don't care anymore. It's all about, wanting them to fit in with what society says is normal. And I'll say this, when I was growing up, and I'm pretty sure it was normal for a lot of young folks, like I say, growing up, with Halloween costumes, you're dressing up in a wig and all this other type of stuff. But the thing about it is that when I became a little bit older and more mature, my mom had to sit down and explain things, to me and my dad, because my mom and dad is still living, thank God. They're still in my life and they play an active role in my life, but the issue is that they were like, okay, well, Halloween is all about dress up, and the thing about it is that I don't celebrate Halloween anymore, because again, once you become older and more mature and you know what God requires of you, there's just certain things you just have to let go. And one of those things, as far as Halloween, I don't practice that anymore. But that's just my personal religious convictions. You can say whatever you want about that. It doesn't matter to me. But anyway, people like to dress up in wigs and all this other type of stuff and put on all this makeup and all this other type of stuff to look ghoulish. And basically, my mom was like, well, you know what? We're not going to be doing that anymore, basically because, again, certain things are made for certain people. Makeup is made for women, for the most part, and like I say, and again, it depends. And even with makeup, there's a lot of applications for it in this day and time where it's not just exclusively for women to be quote unquote made up. Because you have a lot of news forecasters and stuff, people who actually are in front of the camera with lights beaming down them all day. They have to put on that stuff so the lights won't pose a glare off their skin or whatever the case may be. But just generally speaking, she was like, well, you know what? There's just some things that, that we won't be doing anymore, because we feel that, there's just certain things that needs to be in its proper place. And since, they're trying to raise a Christian home, by going by and living by the principles of God, they're cutting out Halloween and basically anything that actually has anything to do with makeup, as far as putting it on a man, they don't do that anymore. And the thing about it is that, I thought it was kind of strange that they would suddenly tell me that, but the issue is that as I got older, I began to understand. This day and time, though, it's like there is no more strong parental guidance in the household. It's like now the parents are allowing their children to do whatever they want to do. If they say, I want to be this person, I want to be this, that, and the other, it's like, okay, well, you know what? Since I love you so much, let me do what I can to support you. And the issue is that that's where the issue lies right there. And the thing about it, again, is that when you nurture wrong, when you give space to wrong and dysfunction, you can't be surprised when you see the type of things that's going on in this day and time as far as our men are concerned. Because, again, it started at a young age. And since it was not corrected, now we have a problem. Now we have a bunch of dysfunctional people who are not actually interested in actually being what God created them to be. They want to be something else because, again, my mom raised me, you know, for me to be an individual and that I can be whatever I want to be. In the grand scheme of things, I can understand, but there's always a caveat to that. You cannot actually undo what God has done. And I don't, again, as I stated in the previous video, you know, no matter how many times you want to change this and change that, your biology is still going to be the same. Shame on these people who are actually inputting these impure and these evil things into these children these days. Shame on you. And the thing about it is that God is going to hold you accountable. He is going to hold you accountable because you knew the way, you knew better, but you refused and you taught evil instead. Or a lot of people say, no, that's not evil. The thing about it is that God's ways are not our ways, nor his thoughts our thoughts. So whatever God actually labels as evil, it's evil. You don't have to go out and kill someone to be evil. Sometimes it's the things that you are taught or the things that's being taught in your home that goes against the principles of Christ. That's considered evil and witchcraft. But again, you know, I don't want to get too involved in that because, again, you know, that can lead off into a video that may be a bit longer than what I anticipated because I want to hurry up and just kind of wrap this one up. But what we have to understand and know is that, again, you know, we have to stop, you know, this has to stop. The women are setting the men, not only black men, but pretty much men in general, up for failure because, again, of the single mother issue that's going on now that is so rampant in the world today. You know, again, the men, they plant the seed. They feel that, you know what, they don't want to stay around to rear the seed. They don't want to stick around to do whatever. So basically now it's left up to the woman, you know, to do that. And basically she's teaching her son everything that she thinks she knows about men. And half the things that she thinks she knows, some of it may be on point, but the majority of it is all off point. The boy needs a male influence, just like the girl needs a female influence. It's good for her to actually sit down and talk to daddy because, again, daddy's going to be able to instruct her about what it means for a man to love a woman and not for them to go out there searching for it in the wrong places. But again, on the flip side of things, when a woman is raising a man, a young boy to be a man, the issue is they got to understand she can only go so far. There's just some things that she cannot teach him. And it's going to take a man to take over that role from where she leaves off. And the issue is I'm getting sick and tired of these women talking about something. I can do it all by myself. I don't need no man. I'm strong. I'm independent. And I'm going to say this as a side caveat. Too much independence is not a good thing. Saying that you are all this, that, and you can make it all on your own, then why in the world would you need me? If you are so independent, why is there a need? Why? There's no need for me to be around, so I might as well just step off and keep it going. See, the thing about it, again, is that men are not looking for the size of your bank accounts and everything like that. They're looking for the fact that they're wanting to be needed. They want to be a part of something where somebody actually wants to depend on them, you know, to be the man, if you know what I mean. But like I say, I don't want to get too much off into a tangent. That's a subject of another video. But anyway, if you know, you get the gist of what I'm saying in this video. The women, that's just my personal opinion. The women of today are really setting young men, young boys up for failure later in life. Because the fact about it is that they're wanting to transform them into what society wants them to be. And the parents, you know, are not actually being the strong disciplinarians as they once were back in earlier eras. Okay, so you all just peace out. And like I said, I want to keep this short and sweet, and y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.